You know, before we get into this video, I want you to understand that what I am about to talk about is probably not what most dog owners want to hear, but it is something that every dog owner needs to hear, because if you are struggling with your dog right now and you are wondering whether all the effort is worth it, this might be the most important mindset shift you will ever make. What am I saying? Here's the breakdown. Tune in. You know, one of the biggest reasons I think dog owners struggle is not because they have difficult dogs, and it is not because they do not care enough about their dogs. In fact, most of the owners I speak to care deeply about their dogs. They are buying courses, watching videos, reading articles, asking for advice, and genuinely trying to do the right thing. The problem is that somewhere along the way they have been sold an idea of what success is supposed to look like. They have been taught to believe that if the training is working, then every week should be better than the last. Every walk should be an improvement on the previous one, and every month should bring them closer and closer to this perfect version of the dog. Then reality arrives. The dog reacts again, the recall fails, the lead pulling comes back, or some other issue appears out of nowhere. And suddenly they start questioning everything. They start questioning the training. They start questioning themselves. And sometimes they even start questioning whether the dog is capable of changing at all. What I have realized after working with so many owners is that the biggest thing nobody prepares them for is the fact that success is not a straight line. Success is messy. Success is frustrating. Success is unpredictable. And if I am being completely honest with you, success with your dog is going to be a dogfight. The reason I say that is because every single success story you have ever seen has a chapter that nobody talks about. You see the before and after videos online. You see the dog that used to react to everything and now walks calmly past other dogs. You see the dog that used to drag its owner down the road and now walks beautifully on a loose lead. You see the dog that once disappeared the second it was let off lead and now has incredible recall. What you do not see are the weeks and months in between. You do not see the owner standing in the rain wondering if they are wasting their time. You do not see the walks where everything went wrong. You do not see the setbacks, the frustrations, the moment where they questioned whether any of it was actually working. Social media tends to show us the destination without showing us the journey, and because of that, people develop expectations that are almost impossible to meet. They think progress should happen quickly. They think improvement should be obvious every single day, and they think that once a dog learns something, it should never make the same mistake again. Then the dog does make a mistake and the owner immediately assumes they have gone backwards. I remember working with a dog owner whose dog was reactive to absolutely everything. If another dog appeared, the barking started. If somebody walked too close, the barking started. Every walk felt like a battle and every outing felt stressful. When we first started working together, the owner was not looking for perfection. They just wanted some peace. They wanted to be able to walk their dog without constantly worrying about what was around the next corner. We put a plan together and they committed to it. They showed up week after week and did exactly what they needed to do. Slowly things started improving. The dog became calmer. The dog started checking in with the owner more. The reactions became less intense. The owner became more confident. Everything was moving in the right direction. Then one day, another dog appeared unexpectedly around the blind corner and the reactive dog exploded. The owner was devastated. They genuinely believed all the progress had disappeared overnight. When we spoke about it, I remember asking them whether they really thought the 30 seconds of bad behavior erased months of improvement. When you put it like that, it sounds ridiculous, but that is exactly how most people think. They will ignore months of progress because they are so focused on one setback. They will forget all the wins because they are obsessed with one mistake. What I have noticed over the years is that the people who eventually get the dog they have always wanted are not the people who avoid setbacks. They are the people who expect them. They understand from the very beginning that there are going to be difficult days, and because they understand that, they do not panic when those difficult days arrive. They do not treat every setback like a disaster. They do not start searching for a new method every time something goes wrong. They do not spend every weekend looking for another trainer because they think the current plan has stopped working. Instead, they look at the bigger picture. They understand that one bad walk does not define the journey, and one bad week does not define the outcome. They are able to zoom out and see the progress that has been made, rather than becoming obsessed with the occasional mistake. I think one of the reasons this is so difficult for people is because we are naturally impatient. We want results now. We want proof that what we are doing is working. We want reassurance that the effort we are putting in is actually moving us forward. The problem is that dogs do not operate according to our timeline. Changes take time. Building new habits take time. Improving communication takes time. Developing trust with your dog takes time. Yet so many owners are looking for dramatic improvements every single week that they completely miss the small improvements that are happening right in front of them. They missed the fact that the dog recovered quicker than last time. They missed the fact that the dog looked at another dog and disengaged. They missed the fact that the dog checked in with them more often during the walk. They miss all these little victories because they are waiting for one giant breakthrough moment. The irony is that those giant breakthrough moments are usually built on hundreds of tiny victories that happened beforehand. This is why I always say that success with dogs is not about avoiding pressure. It is about learning how to handle pressure. Everybody wants the finished result. Everybody wants the calm dog. But very few people talk about the work required to create that dog. Very few people talk about the early mornings, the repetition, the consistency, and the commitment that sits behind every success story. It reminds me of a diamond. Everybody loves the finished diamond. Everybody sees the beauty and the value of the diamond. What most people do not think about is what that diamond had to endure before it became what it is. It went through extreme pressure, it went through extreme heat, and then more pressure, and then more heat. It had to go through a process that most things will never survive. That is what created its value. Dog training is no different. The challenges you are facing today are developing the skills that you will need tomorrow. The difficult dog that is frustrating you today is teaching you lessons that an easy dog never could. The setbacks are forcing you to become more patient. The mistakes are forcing you to be more aware. The challenges are forcing you to become a better handler. One of the biggest turning points for most owners comes when they stop hoping for progress and start intentionally creating it. There is a huge difference between those two things. Hoping your dog improves and intentionally helping your dog improve are completely different mindsets. A lot of people are waiting for a change to happen. They are hoping the dog grows out of the behavior. They are hoping the dog matures. They are hoping the problem somehow disappears on its own. The owner who gets results takes a different approach. They wake up each day knowing exactly what they are working on and exactly why they are working on it. They are not relying on motivation, because motivation comes and goes. Some days you will feel motivated and some days you will not. What matters is whether you are willing to stay consistent even when motivation disappears. That is what creates results. Not intensity, not perfection, but consistency. I have seen owners make more progress through 6 months of steady, consistent training than other owners making years of constantly jumping from one method to another. The reason is simple. The consistent owner understands that improvement is earned through repetition. They understand that every training session is like placing another brick in a wall. One brick does not seem important. 10 bricks do not seem important. But eventually those bricks become something substantial. Training works exactly the same way. Every recall practice session matters. Every calm interaction matters. Every successful walk matters. The challenge is that most people quit before enough breaks have been laid. They become impatient. They become frustrated. They become distracted by the latest trend or the latest shortcut being advertised online. Meanwhile, the owners who stay focused, continue building, and eventually find themselves standing in front of results that once felt impossible. The second thing that separates successful owners from unsuccessful owners is awareness. The best dog owners I have ever worked with are not necessarily the most experienced, and they certainly are not always the most naturally talented. What makes them different is their willingness to pay attention. They study their dogs, they notice patterns, they recognize triggers, they observe body language, they are constantly asking questions and looking for answers. When something goes wrong, they do not immediately blame the dog. They look at the situation and ask themselves what they can learn from it. They understand that frustration rarely creates progress, but awareness often does. Instead of becoming emotional every time their dog makes a mistake, they become curious. They start looking for information. They start analyzing what happened and why it happened. That mindset changes everything, because awareness leads to adjustments, and adjustments lead to improvement. When I look back at the owners who have achieved the biggest transformations with their dogs, what stands out is not the training methods they used or the equipment they bought. What stands out is their determination to keep going when things become difficult. They understood that success was not about having a perfect journey. It was about continuing the journey even when it was not perfect. They accepted that there would be setbacks. They accepted that there would be frustrating days. They accepted that there would be moments where they felt like they were not making progress. Most importantly, they accepted that none of those things meant they should quit. So if you are struggling with your dog right now and you are wondering whether all the effort is worth it, I want you to remember something. The owners who eventually get the dog they have always wanted are rarely the owners who had the easiest journey. They are usually the owners who stayed in the fight longer than everyone else. They are the owners who kept showing up when the results were not obvious. They are the owners who continued training when motivation disappeared. They are the owners who refused to let a setback convince them that they were failing. They understood that progress is not measured by perfection. It is measured by persistence. And if you are willing to keep showing up, keep making adjustments, and keep moving forward, there is every chance that one day you will look back at your dog you are struggling with today and barely recognize them. Not because you found some magic solution, not because you got lucky, and not because the journey was easy, but because when things became difficult, when progress felt slow, and when quitting felt tempting, you made the decision to stay in the fight. And more often than not, that is where the success is waiting. And that is really what I want you to take away from this video. If you are struggling with your dog right now, do not assume that one bad day means you are failing. Do not assume that one setback means your dog cannot improve. Do not assume that because progress feels slow, progress is not happening. Owners who eventually succeed are the owners who stay in the fight long enough to see the results. Because your dog's behavior isn't random. It's a result of what you are doing every single day. Will you change it or keep living with it? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. Take care.